Right now at 5, officials respond to a semi crash that was carrying thousands of pounds of strawberries.
And we've got a pretty decent day ahead of us, but it's setting the stage for stronger storms overnight. A look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the 14th annual Larry Mills Car Show takes place in Duquesne.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now officially Monday, and I'm looking around because I didn't make notes. Okay, April the 28th. I always have to check, especially on Mondays, not paying that much attention to the days of the week. So we do have thunderstorms that'll be building in about less than 24 hours from now. We'll probably have a somewhat busy morning for us, but for today, not too bad. But you know change is coming. You're going to probably smell the rain in the air. It's going to be a little warmer, a little muggier, a little breezier out there. So let's start with that look outside, though. Downtown Pittsburgh, doing pretty good so far. As a matter of fact, right now we've got mostly clear, if not clear skies, but clouds begin to increase as we go through the morning hours. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin also looking good. On to the future track. Future track's painting isolated sprinkles. I think really we're going to be pretty dry today. We are going to be windy, though, with those south winds out there gusting upwards of about 30 to 35 miles an hour heading into the afternoon and evening hours. And then overnight tonight is when we're going to start to see those increasing chances of showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong, potentially severe. So here's a breakdown. Again, this is day one, but remember, day one does carry a bit into tomorrow. So we're not really expecting anything today. It'll be about 2 o'clock tomorrow morning it starts to roll in, but we have a low to elevated tornado threat, an elevated hail risk with these hatch marks in southeast Kansas, parts of Oklahoma, indicating the potential for very large hail. It's 2 inches in diameter or greater. And then we have a low to elevated wind risk across the entire region. And this isn't our only severe weather day. This is today with low to elevated as we head through Tuesday into the afternoon. The greater concern will shift along and south of I-44. And then we do have a low risk down south as we head into Wednesday as well. So a fairly active start to this week. 65 in both Joplin and Pittsburgh right now. South winds, warm front pushing through. This warm front was actually stalled out south of us on Saturday, south of the I-40 corridor, and there were a number of strong to severe thunderstorms south of that Saturday afternoon and into the evening. And that front lifting north, it's going to bring in the warm air, bring in the moisture, bring in the potential for those strong to severe thunderstorms. This morning, as you can see, very mild. Look at Chanute sitting at 70 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning in April, so well above normal. All right, going through the day, low 70s by 9, upper 70s by noon, near 80 by 3, and still upper 70s by 6. Again, clouds increasing, and those winds out of the south, 15 to 25, gusting upwards of 35. Again, thunderstorm chances really start to ramp up overnight tonight into Tuesday. We're going to break down the details on those storms as they roll through here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Oklahoma Highway Patrol was alerted to a rollover crash early yesterday morning. Around 9:45 a.m., reports of a semi carrying 40,000 pounds of strawberries crashed near the McDonald's above I-44. All lanes of traffic were closed as the semi ran into the median, pushing it into the eastbound lanes. Traffic was diverted from Veneta, Oklahoma to Big Cabin. The driver was not injured, and Oklahoma State Patrol reports say the driver fell asleep and crashed into the center barrier. All lanes of traffic were reopened by 12:45 p.m. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, student athletes from Carl Junction brought home some new hardware and a new title. Archers from Carl Junction traveled to Utah to compete in the Western National Championship. Students earned the top spot in 3D archery and second place in bullseye, giving them the national title.
This was their goal since, I think, September. The seniors got together and they said we want to go to Utah. It was better for us to go out there. If we went to the other nationals, they would come back on a Sunday, take finals that week, and graduate that Friday. So this was the best decision for our team to go to this national tournament. And we hoped to win 3D, and we did. We hoped to win center shot bullseye in 3D, and we did. and Bullseye.
Supporters gathered at the Carl Junction High School to welcome them home and congratulate the students on their success. The Carthage band students are raising money on one mattress at a time. The 6th annual mattress fundraiser took place on Sunday, and the goal was to sell 40 mattresses, though there were more. Now, with a wide variety of mattress brands to choose from.
We've been doing it, like I said, for 6 years now, and it's a great sale, a great way for the community to be able to sleep well at night and support our not only their body but support our band at the same time.
The band also sold sheets and pillows. Well, the 14th annual Larry Mills Car Show took place yesterday. Over 70 different vehicles showed up, and folks could enjoy all the car show staples, including music, food, and activities for the kids. All proceeds from the event went to support wildlife youth.
Well, the camp itself is just getting together with other churches, the actual camp, and doing stuff together, study, worship. There's games and stuff like that, but so it helps offset the cost of that camp. But if there's leftover stuff, it helps offset some of the costs we have throughout the year for other activities.
Awards given out at the car show included the 5'9", the Larry Mills Best of Show, John Wetstein's People's Choice, Founder's Choice, and Best of Class. Well, Easter may be over, but that isn't stopping a local business in Joplin from doing an Easter egg hunt with a twist. KOAM's Mitch Adams grabs a paddle and takes us out on the water.
Yeah, we love doing something new just to bring people out, and we're on the water, so you might as well do it on the water. So we're excited to have lots of people out.
Storms may have spoiled some people's Easter weekend, but even in rising water, it's never too late for an Easter egg hunt.
It is really funny to see, and they have to get out of the kayak to get some of the eggs, so it's funny seeing people get out, grab eggs, try to jump back in and get going.
This is anything but your average Easter egg hunt, with a lot of these eggs only being accessible on the water.
We just love seeing people outdoors, enjoying nature, being on the water. That's our favorite thing. So just seeing people out here having a good time, and hopefully they'll come back another time and eat on the patio.
Everyone have fun. Kyle can let you go.
For the second year in a row, Anissa is using her small business to not only give back to her community, but to get people outdoors, even if you get a little bit wet.
We love it. We're a small business, so seeing people out here supporting us and us being able to give back to the community is our favorite thing to do.
So remember, the next time you go to an Easter egg hunt, you might want to bring a life jacket. Reporting on Shoal Creek, I'm Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
According to Anissa from Rivers Bend Resort, over 2,000 eggs were hidden for Sunday's event. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Missouri Southern baseball looks for a series win over Rogers State. We'll have the details. Plus, at least 28 are dead after an explosion hit a major port in southern Iran. And we have a warm and mostly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, both of our local MIAA baseball teams close out divisional series on Sunday. First up, Missouri Southern looks for its first series win since April the 6th. Lions take on the Hillcats in the rubber match. Starting pitcher Alex Baker can't record a single out, so Michael Moore comes in. It's 3-0, no outs, but Moore strikes out his first batter here. So that makes it 4-0. Bases loaded, and he gets the swinging strikeout. Moore strikes out the next batter as well and stops the Hillcats from blowing it open in the first. So he finishes the day with 7. Drew Townsend starts things off offensively with a bloop single, but the Lions can't capitalize just yet. But with 2 outs in the third, Ethan Clark drives one deep to left, and it's way out of here, and the Lions cut the lead in half. And they complete the comeback with a 5-run 8th inning. The Lions win 8-5 and take the series. Now, the Gorillas already had their series won, but they pick up the sweep over the Griffins for the cherry on the top. Pitt State winning 8-1. They outscored Missouri Western 24-3 over the weekend. Now, both the Royals and Cardinals also looked complete sweeps on Sunday. First up, the Royals taking on the Astros at Kauffman Stadium. It's KC versus Houston in the series finale, and in the third, it's still 0-0 until Jordan Alvarez gets a hold of this ball. That's not coming back. It's 3-0. So we head to the fifth, 4-0. Bobby Witt Jr. ropes this ball down the left field line. Jonathan India comes all the way from first to score, and the Royals are on the board. So we head to the ninth. Drew Waters lasers one to right field corner. A run comes home to score, and he's into third with a triple. But Kansas City can't mount the comeback. The Astros win 7-3. And it's the same story for the Cardinals. They fall to the Brewers 7-1 in the series finale. They're back with an NL Central matchup today against the Reds. And a former Coffeyville Red Raven is heading to the NFL. Zaw Frazier was drafted by the Chicago Bears in the 5th round of the NFL Draft. Frazier has had a wild journey to get to this point. Started his collegiate career at Southern Illinois in 2019, then transferred to Coffeyville for the 2020 season, where he was named second-team All-Conference. His second year with the Red Ravens, he was named a first-team All-American before transferring to UTSA, where he's played since the 2022 season. Now, he's playing on the biggest stage. Well, still to come, a new study suggests that eating ultra-processed food is linked to early death. Plus, another check of that forecast, break down what you need to know with these thunderstorm chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up here soon on 5/17 on this Monday morning, we've got severe weather to talk about as we go through tonight into tomorrow and possibly lasting through Wednesday morning. We mentioned that last week too. That was a possibility. Still seems to be that way this week. All right, so again, day one from the Storm Prediction Center goes into parts of tomorrow morning. That's why today we're not really expecting anything in terms of thunderstorms, severe weather, or anything like that. It'll be overnight tonight that we see that low to elevated tornado threat across the area. We have a low to elevated hail risk with these hash marks in southeastern Kansas. That's Chanute, Independence, Coffeyville, Yates Center, Fredonia. That we could see significant hails. We're talking 2 inches in diameter or greater. And we have a low to elevated wind risk across the region as well. So here's what we're looking at on the future track. Still some disagreements as to what takes place through the day Tuesday and the Wednesday morning, but today, pretty good consistency here. We're going to see clouds increasing. Eventually, we'll go mostly cloudy as we head to late morning and into the afternoon. And then we may even have points where we're just straight up cloudy in some spots. We will be warm. We will be breezy. That's going to be bringing in that air and that energy we need. Now, about 11 o'clock tonight or so, could get a stray shower or storm in southeast Kansas. Not expected to do much. It's going to be about 2 o'clock tomorrow morning that our severe threat will begin to ramp up across the area, with these thunderstorms now building in to Washington and Newada counties into northeastern Oklahoma and just touching on parts of Montgomery and Chautauqua counties into Kansas. That complex of storms rolls through. It could be strong to severe. It's through the Joplin area about 3-4 a.m. and now it's kind of up around the Stockton Lake area by about 5. More showers and thunderstorms back behind that. These will begin to push through. And by late morning, so as we transition into day 2 on Tuesday, our severe threat will become more focused along and south of I-44, heading through the late morning into the afternoon and evening hours with additional scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. And again, another round possible in the evening south of I-44 that could be strong, potentially severe. Then we go into Wednesday morning, and we're looking at 2 a.m. and another round of showers and storms. And some of these could be strong, low-grade severe, but once we get past that, we should be okay. Maybe a few additional showers, thunderstorms as we head into Wednesday afternoon and evening, but the severe threat will begin to drop as we head through the day Wednesday. So here's our risk levels for tomorrow. A low risk, tornado risk in parts of Oklahoma and just touching Benton County. Then we have a low hail risk, again, mainly along and south of I-44. Same with the wind risk. That's where we go from low to elevated. So damaging wind gusts are going to be the primary concerns with any storm storms then. So we go to, again today, our low to elevated risk, low to elevated tomorrow, and then just a low risk in the far southern counties as we head into Wednesday. So a very active start to this work week, and a lot we want to keep an eye on, especially since our severe threat's looking to be, well, most of you are going to be still asleep, resting in bed, but be sure we'll be here tomorrow morning keeping an eye on those storms. Upper 60s to start, mid 70s by 11 o'clock this morning, going mostly cloudy to just cloudy today. South winds though 15 to 25, gusting to 35. We're into the upper 70s through the afternoon hours, about 79, 80 for our high today, maybe some of us into the low 80s, especially a little further south. Through the evening, mostly cloudy skies by 10, again 10, 11, maybe an isolated shower or storm in southeast Kansas. And those thunderstorm chances ramp up overnight back down to about 60. And non-thunderstorm winds out of the south gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. We'll have our thunderstorms throughout the day on Tuesday. We'll be in the low 70s through at least Thursday. Low to mid 70s Friday, a few lingering storms into Thursday morning. And then we'll start to clear out. This weekend looks great. Warming back up though into the low 80s by Sunday and Monday. We've got additional shower and thunderstorm chances as we roll through next week as well. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. New research involving more than 240,000 people has found that the more ultra-processed foods you eat, your risk of a premature death from any cause rises. Ultra-processed foods are considered to have little to no whole food and are chemically manipulated and often contain synthetic additives. Now, according to one expert, there's no reason to believe humans can adapt to these products, meaning the body may become impaired or damaged depending on its vulnerability to the amount of ultra-processed food consumed. Now, this finding is notable in part because it's been estimated that nearly 70% of all food in grocery stores in the U.S. is ultra-processed. Well, new research reveals how teens think social media impacts their mental health. A Pew Research Center study finds 48% of teens say they feel that social media is harmful to people their age. Now that's up 16% from 2022. The survey polled teens in the U.S. between the ages of 13 and 17 from September to October of last year. The survey also found around 45% of teens say they feel like they spend too much time on social media, and 44% of them say they are trying to cut back. Now, this comes nearly a year after former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy asked Congress to put a label on social media apps to warn of the risks for young people. Well, measles cases continue to rise across the U.S., and a new study released this week finds the U.S. could face millions of measles cases in the next 25 years if routine vaccine rates continue to go down. Jen Sullivan looks at the numbers and the urgent call from medical experts.
Nearly 900 confirmed measles cases have been reported in the U.S. so far this year, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That's more than 3 times higher than all of the cases reported in 2024.
Measles is one of the most contagious diseases in the world.
At least 3 people have died from the disease this year. And while the vast majority of cases have been linked to an outbreak centered in Texas, 29 states have reported at least 1 case.
Any child who dies from a vaccine-preventable disease is a tragedy.
Medical experts say the best way to protect yourself is to get the MMR vaccine. The first dose is generally given to children ages 12 to 15 months and is 93% effective against measles. The second dose is given to kids between 4 and 6 years old, is 97% effective. But routine childhood vaccination rates have been declining. And if that trend continues, measles could become endemic in the U.S., according to a new study.
This is why it takes herd immunity. It takes up to 95% of people in a particular region having immunity to measles in order to prevent it from spreading.
The study found that if MMR vaccine rates drop by 10%, we could see more than 11 million cases by 2050. But if the MMR vaccine rate increases by just 5%, cases would be around 5,800 by 2050. That's why medical experts are urging people to get the vaccine. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Now we've got a warm and windy day ahead of us with thunderstorm chances ramping up overnight. The latest when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, Pitt State students help local kids get away from their screens and enhance their practical skills.
We've already got a pretty mild start out there. Gusty winds rolling in, very warm temperatures today. A look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the 4 states Reptile Expo takes place in Neosho. We'll take you there.
The 4 states most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday. It's April the 28th. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. I hope everything went well this weekend.
How about yourself, Chris?
Got work done, and it was very nice to get some work done. Did some yard work, some landscaping. Not too much, but got it in before the rain got started on Saturday.
Nice, yeah.
So we've got more rain on the way as we head overnight tonight. For today, though, you're just going to feel the change in the air. It's going to be warm and it's going to be windy. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Right now, skies are clear, but clouds begin to increase as we head through the morning hours. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. We're looking pretty good down there as well. Here we are, future track. By noon, you can see we're already mostly cloudy to just straight up cloudy. I will have gusty south winds out there pushing about 35 miles an hour. Temperatures, we're looking at highs right about 80 or so as we head through the afternoon hours. Future track also showing maybe a sprinkle or two. I do believe the majority of us are going to be dry. It won't be until overnight tonight that our severe threat will begin to ramp up. So we have a low to elevated tornado risk for overnight tonight, and we have a low to elevated hail risk in these hash marks into Kansas and parts of Oklahoma. That's indicating the possibility of very large hail that could be 2 inches in diameter or greater. And then we have a low to elevated wind risk. So we're talking the possibility of winds, damaging wind gusts 60, 70 miles an hour. Our risk is not just today, tonight really. Tonight, low to elevated across the area, which we just showed you. Then tomorrow, once we head into the late morning, afternoon, and evening hours, that threat will shift along and south of I-44. We'll have a low risk north of that and an elevated risk south. Could even have a couple of strong storms early Wednesday before we finally get done with at least the severe threat heading to the middle of this week. Temperatures this morning quite mild, 65 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh, and around the area it is very warm for this time of day. We do have some low 60s, most of us mid and upper 60s, and a pair of 70s, the 8th Center and Chanute this morning. So again, a very warm start. We're going to be right around 72 by 9, 77 by noon, pushing close to 80 by 3, and still upper 70s by 6. Those increasing clouds, south winds 15 to 25 with those gusts to 35. As I mentioned, our severe threat ramps up about 2 a.m. is what we're looking at right now for those thunderstorms rolling into the area. We'll break down the timing and the details on those storms over the next couple of days for you here in just a couple more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll see you soon. Well, Pitt State students are helping kids get away from screen time and engage with others to build valuable life skills. As part of their final exam, Pitt State Honors College students planned a day of activities focused on enhancing problem solving, teamwork, and imaginative thinking.
There's a space for more kids-based programs because I think we lost a lot of those when the pandemic happened, and they're slowly coming back, but it's so important to get kids connected with their community and each other and getting them building those connections, especially around this age.
Associate Professor Philip Frank says the students have gone above the requirements for the course to make Saturday's activities what they were. Route 66 in Commerce, Oklahoma comes alive on Saturday for an arts festival. Nationally known muralists and local artists painted their designs across town, centered around the theme of historic Route 66. All of this in preparation for the nationwide centennial celebration of Route 66 coming next year.
So we bring in muralists from all over the country. So we have 2 that came from Florida and 1 that came from Texas, but we also utilize locals. So we have 3 local artists that are painting as well. And then they are also taking on local students as apprentices. So the students are getting to learn how to make murals as well.
People who attended got to engage with all the festival activities, including food trucks and activities for the kids. Well, the Peace Church Cemetery in Joplin led a tour of grave plots occupied by United States veterans. Jim Beeler, the cemetery's caretaker, shares stories of veterans that fought in the Civil War through World War II, highlighting their sacrifices for our country.
Well, it's important because our veterans are the ones that keeps us free. And if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be a free nation. So it's an honor to be able to do that and show that they kept us free all these number of years, all the way from the Civil War to World War II. And we just want to keep honoring them as best we can.
The cemetery is looking for more volunteers to help with land upkeep and working the gravesite tours. Well, a Reptile expo held in Neosho gives animal enthusiasts an opportunity to buy, sell, and examine exotic pets. KOAM's Mitch Adams visited the expo and met some of the animals firsthand.
The saying goes, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. Substitute lions, tigers, and bears for bearded dragons, snakes, and spiders. Front and center for people to interact with, but only if you're brave enough.
Here you can get up and close with the breeders that have produced the animals. They take care of the animals. They can educate you, help you, and everything in a very well-rounded atmosphere.
The animals are not what you see at your average pet store. And breeders say educating people about these animals and finding them responsible homes is a top priority.
Basically for us, we're like having a zoo and a pet store all in one. You can get your pet, you can get the enclosure, you can get all your bedding and get everything you need for it to thrive whenever you get home with your new pet.
Different booths show different species.
One of those species being the tiger reticulated python, one of the longest snakes in the world, that can grow over 20 feet long in the wild.
The expo is a first for the area, but a success for breeders and critters alike.
It's awesome. It's a good feeling for me seeing all the smiling faces and everybody being happy to see something new in the 4 states. I really enjoy being able to bring something like this to folks that might not have the ability to travel 2 or 3 or 4 hours to go to the closest Reptile Expo.
In Newton County, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
The expo continued through Sunday at the Newton County Fairgrounds. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. At least 11 people are dead after a car rammed into a crowd at a Filipino festival in Canada. Plus, we look back at some of President Trump's policies as he approaches his 100th day in office. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, officials worked overnight to contain a deadly fire at a major port in southern Iran over the weekend. The recovery efforts continue a day after an explosion hit the port, killing at least 28 and injuring more than 1,000 people. Helicopters dropped water on the raging fire Saturday night and into Sunday. The explosion took place just as the U.S. and Iran met for more negotiations over the country's advancing nuclear program. Iran's foreign minister says security officials are on high alert, considering past efforts of attempted sabotage and assassination operations. The cause of the blast is not yet clear. At least 17 Palestinians were killed from Israeli strikes in the Gaza Strip Sunday. According to the Nasser Hospital, a strike hit a tent in Khan Yunis, killing a mother, her 5 children, and 2 other people. The Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital announced another strike hit people in the streets of Deir al-Bala, killing 4 people. Now in the same city, a different strike killed a man and 4 children when it hit a tent. Video shows people mourning the bodies of the deceased, as well as smoke seen rising over the skyline east of Gaza City. The Filipino community is in deep mourning following a deadly car ramming attack in British Columbia, Canada. Vancouver police are investigating what happened after a car plowed into a Filipino Lapu-Lapu festival Saturday night. Now, at least 11 people are dead, including a 5-year-old. Police say a black car plowed through people attending the festival, which celebrates Filipino heritage and contributions. Mourners left flowers and tributes at the roped-off site, One witness, whose wife was a food vendor at the event, says he heard and saw what was happening and told others to turn away. 30-year-old Kaiji Adam Lohman has been arrested and is facing second-degree murder charges. Investigators have ruled out terrorism. Vancouver police say Lowe has a history of mental health issues. President Donald Trump's 100th day of his return to the Oval Office is tomorrow, but new polling shows his approval rating among Americans is sinking when it comes to some specific issues. Nate Foy has more from Bedminster, New Jersey.
President Donald Trump will mark his 100th day back in office this week, but new polling shows mixed results for his job performance. According to an AP poll, 46% of U.S. adults approve of Trump's approach to immigration, as his handling of the border remains his strongest issue. But a recent Reuters poll finds only 37% of respondents approve of his economic policies, with some saying they fear the possibility of a recession. Trump is in New Jersey Sunday, following his Italy trip, where he paid his respects to Pope Francis. On the sidelines of the funeral, Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke for the first time since their Oval Office blowout.
How did the meeting with Trump go?
Really, we had a productive meeting. I don't want to go to a lot of details.
After the meeting, Trump called out Russian President Vladimir Putin, writing in part, quote, "There was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities, and towns over the last few days. It makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along." Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasizes just how critical the upcoming days will be to bring an end to the war.
We have to make a determination about whether this is an endeavor that we want to continue to be involved in, or if it's time to sort of focus on some other issues that are equally, if not more important.
President Trump heads back to Washington, D.C. before going to Michigan on Tuesday to celebrate his 100th day back in office.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:45 on this Monday morning. And today, I want to emphasize that today we're not anticipating any severe weather. It's tonight into tomorrow that we are expecting the severe weather. And the reason I want to emphasize that is, as we've discussed in the past, it does get a little confusing with the Storm Prediction Center and how they do day one, day two, and so on and so forth. This is day one, technically today, but it does carry into tomorrow morning, and that's when we're expecting our severe threat to ramp up. So we do have a low to elevated tornado threat across the area. We also have a low to elevated hail risk in Kansas, so Chinook, Independence, Coffeyville, Yates Center, Fredonia. Those are locations where these hatch marks are, where we could see very large hail that would be 2 inches in diameter or greater. And then we have a low to elevated wind risk across the area as well. Now, the greater concerns are north and west of the I-44 corridor for the severe weather as we go overnight tonight. And so let's take a look at the future track and what expectations are for now. Right now, skies are clear across the area. It's not going to last much longer. Clouds begin to increase through the morning, and we'll start to go mostly cloudy to just straight up cloudy heading into the afternoon. Future track, as you saw, shows maybe a sprinkle or two, but in all honesty, I think we're all going to remain dry today. We're just going to be warm. We're going to be windy. And we go overnight tonight. First, by about 10, 11 o'clock, a stray shower storm in southeast Kansas looks to be possible. It's just kind of just a little storm. A little pop-up shower out there. Not going to do much is the expectation. It's 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, or at least close to, that we are looking at the thunderstorms to begin to increase. So by 2 a.m., we're just starting to get into Washington, Nowata counties, parts of Montgomery and Chautauqua counties as well into southeast Kansas by 2 a.m. As we go through the morning, here we are at 3. Now we've got a bigger thunderstorm complex pushing in, so that's stretching, let's say, from around Carthage through Joplin, Galena, Baxter, down toward Miami, Veneta, now just exiting the Coffeyville, Independence area around Parsons, Oswego, and eventually pushing closer to Pittsburgh. So that's 3 a.m. By 5, we're stuck with just a few scattered showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder, but it only is a brief break before thunderstorms begin to reorganize and redevelop us across southeast Kansas, initially from Fort Scott, Parsons, down Coffeyville, down toward Bartlesville. By 7 a.m., we're now Nevada, Lamar, Joplin, Miami, and stretching back to the south and west with another round of showers and storms, and some of these could still be strong to severe. And then we'll have scattered storms through the morning morning. And again, some of them, this is where things transition tomorrow. Our severe threat will line up almost right along I-44 and south will be the greater risk, but we'll still get thunderstorms north of that point. Don't let that fool you into thinking you're okay. Strong storms still possible north of that. As we head into the afternoon, they become fairly scattered, but we will continue to see thunderstorms, some strong north of I-44 and some severe storms possible along and south of I-44 through the afternoon, evening, and possibly into the overnight and very early morning hours on our Wednesday, before we finally start to get a break from those showers and storms. So here's what we've got heading into tomorrow, again, late morning into the afternoon. There is a low tornado risk, just barely getting into our far southern counties here. We do have a low hail risk, again, along and south of I-44. It's the wind that looks to be the greater concern. A low risk north of I-44 stretching from Nevada, Fort Scott, Chanute, and points west. And then we get the elevated risk along and south of I-44 as we head into tomorrow afternoon. And then for Wednesday, so there's our low to elevated tomorrow. Behind me, our low to elevated today. And then we have that low risk as we head into Wednesday. Through the morning, again, we'll see clouds increasing, upper 60s to start, going about the mid 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs today right about 80, very close to. South winds gusting upwards of 35. Still breezy tonight. Low 70s tomorrow through at least Friday, and then we'll start to dry out by Friday into the upcoming weekend and warm back up as well into the low 80s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, a bizarre law enforcement pursuit became fully surreal when the suspect driver was caught on camera offering a pursuing deputy a boozy drink mid-chase. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Stop. Watch a suspect boldly offer Florida deputies a boozy drink before leading them on a high-speed chase.
Look like a beer or something.
Actually, according to the Highlands County Sheriff's Office, it was a vodka spritzer that this alleged robbery suspect held out while saying, "I just wanted to give you a drink." He then led deputies on a high-speed chase that was turned low speed with the successful deployment of stop sticks. The suspect was eventually brought to a full stop after crashing into a pursuing vehicle and is seen ignoring deputies' commands while casually smoking a cigarette before he's finally subdued by a stun gun. He was hit with several charges, including battery, petty theft, DUI, resisting arrest, and more.
You guys had fun, all right?
Another Florida deputy had his evening turned upside down, literally, when the Manatee County Sheriff's Office says an alleged DUI suspect hit him head-on, flipping his vehicle. Surveillance cameras captured the moment the truck allegedly crossed a median, colliding with the deputy's car, turning it upside down. The deputy was pulled from the vehicle and appeared shaken up, but escaped with only minor injuries. The suspect was broken out of his vehicle, arrested, and charged with DUI. And from alleged boozy bad behavior to imbibing in the wild. That's what a recent study says was caught on camera for the first time, as wild chimpanzees were spotted sharing fermented African breadfruit, an ethanol-tinged fruit with naturally boozy properties. In a published study, researchers say chimps aren't known for sharing food, but this observed behavior could suggest the primates may use the fruity booze to form bonds with one another, just like we humans are known to do. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Pretty cool. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, for the right price, you can own a sword owned by Napoleon. One of the sabers owned by the French emperor for his personal use goes up for auction next month in Paris. Now, it's made of gilded silver with a shark skin sheath and is expected to sell for up to $1.1 million at auction. Napoleon kept the pricey and highly decorated sword throughout his reign. And a Pope Francis tribute lights up the sky in Spain thanks to high-tech help. The late pontiff of the Catholic Church was laid to rest in the Basilica of Santa Maria in Rome on Saturday. Now, he was remembered in one more send-off in Spain Sunday as hundreds of drones hovered above the Montserrat Abbey, maneuvering into moving light formations of the Pope. The 15-minute tribute was part of the Day of the Virgin Montserrat.
Of course, it's just incredible what they can do with drones these days. Even fireworks show with some of them, and of course, a great show right there. All right, skies this morning are clear, but they will become cloudy pretty quickly through the morning as well. Upper 60s to start, low 70s through about 9, 10 o'clock, mid 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. A mix of mostly cloudy to just straight up cloudy skies heading into the afternoon. Temperatures about 80. Some of us a little warmer, some of us a couple of degrees cooler, but right around 80. I'll have those south winds gusting upwards of 35 miles an hour. Could get a stray shower or storm around 10, 11 o'clock in southeast Kansas. Most of us still dry. And then overnight after 2 a.m., our thunderstorm chances increase, and some of those storms, again, could be strong to severe with all hazards possible. So it's something we want to watch very closely. South winds still gusting, non-thunderstorm winds gusting upwards of 30. Low 70s through at least the Thursday, low to mid 70s Friday. Thunderstorms, some strong to severe tomorrow in the very early Wednesday morning. A few scattered storms through the day on Wednesday, wrapping up by Thursday morning. And then we'll warm up and clear out heading into the weekend. Temperatures into the low 80s. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.